Hi again, it's Mike. Welcome back to the channel. Today I have an MTG for you to share from my collection. Before I do that, let's do a quick wrist check. Today I have the PRW 7000 FC Pro Trek Men in Black edition. This is a JDM edition, and it's a lovely addition to the collection. Beautiful watch, but this is not on show today. Today we are reviewing the MTG. This is the S1000D-1A4. So let's have a look at this piece, guys, because as you know, with all of my watches, I really love this one. So I'm going to give you a quick all-around shot of this piece, and then we'll get into some of the details, because this is a very lovely watch. It's an older version, but it's a very, very nice watch. So this one was launched in 2013, October of 2013, and it is the S1000D red and black edition. Obviously steel, but red and black edition. There is another one which doesn't have the red, so just like this, but instead of the red it has silver, and that's an S1000D as well. But this is the -1A4. Now, it's steel with resin, which makes for a very, very comfortable band, very comfortable fitment, a very nice looking display, guys. It's a very, very attractive display. This is one of the watches where every time I wear it, my wife recognizes it. It's just one of those watches that catches the eye every single time. Surprises you during the day, you know, when you're wearing it. Look down for the time, and it's one of those kind of situations where I find myself thinking, oh, I wore that one today. Good choice, Mike. But yeah, this is a lovely, lovely watch, guys. So let's get into some of the details. So it's a 52mm case size, and that's including the crown. It's 45 if you don't include the crown. The height, it's chunky. It's not too bad. It's chunky, but it's not too bad. It's 14mm height, so you can wear it with a shirt cuff. I think that's the actual max for shirt cuff, really, 14-15mm. But I've worn it to the office a couple of times. It's a nice piece to wear with a shirt under a shirt cuff. Lug to lug is 50mm, so it wears, it's not massive, it wears really comfortably at 50mm, but guys, I've got to tell you, and I'll give you a wrist shot in a minute, this watch, dare I say it, wears bigger. It's a 50mm, it feels more like a 55 approaching the 60mm. It really does wear massive, I feel. It's one of the watches where when I first got it and I put it on, I looked at it, and the first thought that came to me was, wow, this is a big watch. And I wear big watches, but this one really has that massive wrist presence. So at the widest part of the band, the lug is 34mm, tapering down to 20mm, and that clasp is about 22mm. As you can see, I've had some wear on this. Now this is one I got. I didn't buy this one brand new, and you know, it does show some wear, but it's one of those watches, guys, that because it's steel, it feels so well constructed, so well built. It's actually a really robust watch. This is one of those pieces that was made in Japan, so you know, you have that. It has that going for it, and it was made in the Yamagata factory, where they make the premium, where they have the premium line. So they'll make the MRG there as well. So MTG, metal twisted G-Shock. This guy is, it has a bit of tech. It's not full of tech. It has a lot of basic features. It has some annoying features in that it's, okay, so it's full analog, as you can see. And it has kind of digital functions all in an analog interpretation. So everything is set via analog, which is interesting for us who like these specific pieces, but it can be tedious when it comes to setting, right? It can get a bit monotonous when you have to wait for the minute hand to do the full circumference of the face of the watch, and just to set the time and that kind of thing. But it's a lovely piece regardless of all of that. So we have sapphire crystal, as I said, stainless steel resin band, which makes it very comfortable. It's not a light watch at 188 grams. Let me give you a wrist shot, guys, so you can see what it looks like on my 7 3/4 wrist. 188 grams. You do feel that weight. You really do. I like to feel the watches when they're on my wrist. I like the fact that I've got something heavy on my wrist. Some people might not prefer that. I don't mind it at all. There it is on my 7 3/4, and as I've said before, I wear my watches a little loose just so that the air can channel through between the bracelet or band and my wrist, and you know, stop the sticking when it gets sweaty. This is a lovely addition to the clasp. Have these resin pieces here to stop scratches or reduce scratches. Nice thought there. But it's one of those watches that you'll have for as long as you want, guys. I mean, it's gonna last. It's built to last. It's a brute of a watch. So it has it's 200 meter water resist. It also has the usual stopwatch, timer, alarm. You know, it has everything you'd need in a standard G-Shock and a little bit more. This one has the triple G resist, so you know it's got the impact, vibration, and gravity resistance. It also has the smart access switch, which is this guy here, and you would set your time and your world time by pulling this out, and that would enable you to set your time and world time. I'll go through some modes with you guys. So this is the mode switch here. First we go to stopwatch, and this dial here signals the beginning start for the stopwatch, and the stopwatch is actually viewed in this window here, this dial here. We have timer, alarm, mine is off, and back to the day. Now this dial also holds the world time, right? And you can swap between this dial and the main dial for world time and current country code time. It's one of those watches where it's a sequence of button presses to get to where you want. I think it took me a while to set it up, and I will say, and here's a little plug, G-Shock High Fashion has a great channel, and he has a great video of setting this watch from start to finish. If you get one and the hands are not straight, or you can't quite figure out how to set the date and time, or how to set the DST or what have you, he has a great blow by blow of how to do that, and I actually use that. Use his video to set my watch up. So a couple of things it doesn't have. It doesn't have GPS or Bluetooth. It was just before that kind of tech, so they didn't add that on this watch. It does have multiband 6, so the atomic time, and if I press this button here, you can see where the second hand went to, that Y. That's telling me that it received its signal, its atomic signal, last night. Now if I wanted to manually set it up to receive, you press and hold this button after it's in standard mode. There. So it will go to the receive, and it will now be waiting to receive its atomic time. Obviously best to do during the night, because that's the best time for the signal to be received. My watches tend to receive their atomic signal between the hours of 1 and 4 in the morning, I guess, when there's less interference around. But yeah, it receives pretty much every night. It's really good. I have a few atomics that don't receive all the time. This one pretty much receives, I would say, 90 to 95% of the time. So I love this watch. I've thought about selling it before and upgrading to the MTG-B1000. I have the 35th anniversary version, and I wouldn't mind getting the steel, red and steel version of that. But I couldn't have this with that. It would be too much of the same colorway, kind of same watch. But the reason I haven't is because I really love the difference. I love this, the size and the way it looks on the wrist, the way it feels. It's different to the MTG-B1000 in that it wears bigger. The MTG-B1000, the newer version, wears slightly smaller, and it's just a good different piece to have. One bugbear I have about this watch, and I really do feel it, guys. You know how I feel about the auto illumination. Now, this watch does not have a light, and it's a thing that Casio don't do. They don't tend to put lights on their analog watches. You find them on the Ana-Digi watches. So if this had a digital display as well as the analog hands, you'd find a light there. The MRG has a light, but that's higher up, and obviously they just added everything they could to that. But these analog watches that are not MRGs, the MTG, I think the G Steel as well, they did. I definitely know the Aviators, GW 3000Ms and that kind of thing, that kind of piece, they do not have lights, and it's a bit of a pain, because sometimes you need the light. Now it does have Lume. It's not bad, but it's not brilliant. So let me just give you a quick Lume shot here, guys. One sec while I turn these lights down. So there you have it. Not bad. It's functional. You can see that it's got Lume, but I guess I'm spoilt with all the Seiko divers. The Lume that you see on those is just phenomenal, and some of the other illuminated G-Shocks that I have, way better than this. But I shouldn't complain. It's not bad. I love the dual Lume, actually, where you've got the blue hands there along with the green markers. But Casio, a light would have been phenomenal. That would have knocked it out the park. That would have been a 10 out of 10 for me, had it had an illumination as well, and even more than that, an auto illumination, so you could just roll it off the wrist and get the dial lit up. But yes, guys, this is my MTG S1000D-1A4. As I said earlier on, released in 2013, October 2013, so it's an older watch now, but one that if you have in the collection, it's worth keeping. There's a couple of iterations of this. There's the all steel, there's obviously this with the red, there's the Sunken Treasure, which is heavily patina looking and really looks nice. There's a few different iterations out, guys. There's an all black steel with the red. There's even a 25th anniversary edition, I believe, as well. 25th anniversary, looks really nice. But I would say for now this is a keeper. If a MTG B1000 in the same colorway, the steel and the red, came up for a good price, I would consider maybe selling this. But for now, it's a keeper. One of the other things it does, guys, is it has a power save mode where if you don't wear it for a long while and you come to it, both the hour and minute hand will be at the 12 o'clock mark, and that means it's in power save mode. even before that, what it will do is it will tell you it's going to be a low battery if you see the second hand skipping every 2 seconds or operating every 2 seconds. Then it's low battery and it needs a solar charge, because obviously it is tough solar as well. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but it's tough solar as well. So you know, spending a day on the mantelpiece in the sunshine or under a nice bright lamp brings it back to a nice full charge. So yep, it's a keeper for now, as I said. You know, I'm not in any hurry, or you know, I don't really want to sell it, but if something else came up, I would sure consider it. But for now, I do really like this one. It's a nice grab and go quartz, and it looks good on the wrist. So there you have it, guys. This has been my MTG-S1000D-1A4. Guys, we're all of your watches in the best of health, and until next time, take care.